So the crisis, the recent crisis, hurt Russia's car market very badly, in so much as sales were cut in half. But now the economy is recovering, and as you're saying, that income is rising again. Have you won back all the ground that's lost? Is the market recovering to your satisfaction?
Yes, we see that Russia suffered most of all countries during the crisis, and the sales dropped very sufficiently, and we reduced our production in 2009 almost three times. So it was a big fall of production and sales, but we see very fast recovery, and we envisage and we forecast a huge potential of the further growth of the Russian market due to very clear and objective factors. First of all is that number of cars that are on the road in Russia is very huge, and if you compare with the number of sales, this ratio is very, very low. So we see the big potential for renewal of car fleet in Russia.
Because car ownership per capita is around 200 cars per 1,000 people, compared to somewhere like Germany where it's over 400.
Yes. So if it is 2 times less than or even 3 times less in Europe, and if you compare with the United States and Japan, this figure is even lower. And if we forecast that in 2010 we have the same figure of cars per capita that is in Eastern Europe even now. We think that the car sales will double or even increase more. This is one of the factors. Second is that the car fleet in Russia is very old, and more than 50% of cars are more than 10 years old. And if we take into account that most of these cars doesn't meet any standards of any ecological standards existing, no Euro standard at all. So we see that the implementation of tougher regulations and rules for ecological and safety standards, there is a huge potential for automotive producers to increase the volumes of production and sales, in particular in Russia. These are 2 key factors, and if these factors are supported with the growth of Russian economy, and we see as well as a huge potential for the further growth of Russian economy, that is going to be supported. And I think that in the next 2-3 years there is a substantial, big probability that Russia may come market number 1 in Europe.
You're working towards a plan, the 2020 plan. What are the main elements of that? I mean, what are the key things you need to do at Avtovaz in order to make it more competitive with increasing the amount of foreign companies we're seeing operating here?
We understand that with the growth market and the bigger intention and huge investments that all OEMs make in Russia, we need to be very competitive and change a lot in our work and support our strategy and the share we have in the market now. Every 4th car sold in Russia of all producers and of all countries is our car, Lada brand now. So we need to make a huge work. First of all, we make a great job to improve the quality together with the Alliance Renault Nissan, and we have quite pretty figures for the 2 years improvement and decreasing defects of the supplies. We decreased more than 10 times defects of the supplies and come closer and closer to our benchmarks of our competitors. And also the quality of the car in 3 months, 6 months in service, we increased substantially this quality. Also we need to understand that we need to be very fast in bringing new lineup. So we bring new products. Last year we launched our new product in our segment that we sell the car in the entry segment and low-cost car named Granta, and we have huge demand for this car, and our 3 or 4 months production is sold for the moment. In a couple of weeks we launched a new 7-seat car based on the Renault B0 platform. Is our Largus, And by the end of the year, we launched the first alliance car in Avtovaz. It's going to be Nissan car. So we plan new car, launch of new car every 6 months minimum.
That's going to be key, though, isn't it? Because I mean, at the moment, Avtovaz's main competitive advantage is costs.
Yes.
However, as per capita incomes continue to rise and the easy availability of credit, that most Russians, given the choice, have been going for foreign branded cars. And look, you were talking about moving into that segment.
Yes.
Can you really compete on a design basis?
No, that actually people, when they get more money and they afford more options and better quality for the car, they come not to the foreign car, they're saying that they come to the better car. So we need to be competitive in this particular sphere. We need to keep the competitive advantage of cost, and we all the time we make benchmarks and we compare what is the cost of the production same cars in Avtovaz and the best plants of the alliance in Pitești in Romania and Bursa in Turkey. And in the future I hope that we make benchmarks with the Japanese plants. And we've done a big job, and we see that we have a huge potential to be competitive cost-wise, to be competitive in the cost of the car produced in Avtovaz. Compared with the best plants. And it's not a joke that our partners compare their development and further volumes to be produced in Russia, and they forecast that most of these volumes, more than 85% of the increase of volumes, they want to make in Avtovaz and Izhevsk plant. That I think means something for us. And we understand that we have a huge potential due to the traditions and the capacity we have, the volume of the production we have, and the huge improvements we make.
I was very interested to hear your comments. You were saying that the key to this is not just to buy new equipment, that you were working hard in order to make the existing equipment more efficient. How much progress have you made there? Because the key to Russia's problems in productivity is usually to do with management, and it's a fairly basic thing, and it actually doesn't cost anything to get it right. But you were saying you've actually made some great strides in that direction.
Yes, we understand that is the key. It is the wrong idea that we can buy new equipment and buy new platforms and new technologies without implementation of new methods of organization of the production or production systems and quality control. We cannot reach the proper result to be very competitive, and we are not shy just sharing the expertise and experience of our suppliers. The first lessons I personally learned from the relations and with the Nissan and Renault that sometimes it's not good to invest money if you can save this money and to use existing equipment and existing car and the lineup or existing supplier. And then it's better to improve the quality of existing facility of car or the supplier than to invest huge money and expecting that the problems you haven't solved on existing equipment and existing car, thinking that they will move and change and eliminate with the implementation of new hardware or equipment. You know. This is the very important issue, and the lesson we've learned, one of the first, with in the relations and the alliance with the Renault and Nissan, and this is important. And I am glad that now we have some results of these initiatives and finding this synergy. And as I said today, then in the plastic shop, our cooperation with Nissan brought, and this is fact, 34% increase of productivity on the same people, same equipment, but result is better by 34%. And general result of the changes in the production system in the plant that still to be hugely improved. But we just start these changes. They brought more than 10% of the increase of the productivity almost on the same equipment. This is the key. The same is that we shouldn't understand that we shouldn't think that someone will bring the quality and control of the quality and these procedures. We work hard with the improvement of the quality with existing suppliers on existing equipment and existing basis. And what we learned another lessons is that more than 80% of the problems of quality may be solved without huge investments. The problem sometimes is just the management, quality of the management, and then the procedures and of the quality control. That we benefit and we use the benchmarks and the systems and procedures from Renault and Nissan. Sometimes it's better not to invent the bicycle when it was invented long ago. And we understand that we, with the experience of Renault and Nissan that launch more than 10 cars every year, we should use the experience and not be shy just to utilizing the best methods.
Are you confident? I mean, as I said, the Russian compete on cost, and the Russian image of the Lada is a very basic car. Are you confident that you can compete head-to-head with the international producers in terms of quality, brand image? You've got a lot of work to do there. I mean, it's one thing to produce productivity, it's another thing to create a new image for Lada.
Look, this is, I think that is not your question. That is kind of your position, and you're sharing with me your evaluation of risks.
Yes.
Of risks. We understand that the position we are in now is very risky, and we should do a huge job. This is, we understand clearly. And there is a huge job to be done to be competitive with the leaders, of automotive industry. And that is quite clear. But if you compare 2 years situation where we were 2 years ago, so you change that, you understand that, and I hope that you agree that we changed drastically. And we have, I think that we have strong support. With the alliance, we start changes, and it is important that we start visualizing. These changes come visual for our workers, for the management of Avtovaz, and I think that we understand that we have to do a hard job to improve the situation, and we see risks, but we understand that we are competitive. If, for example, if you ask other OEMs, foreign OEMs that localize in Russia, and they say that if they compare with the cost of the production of the same cars in Europe, they are above 10-15%. What I say that we are very close to the best benchmarks of our competitors, other plants in Europe and in other countries. We should improve the productivity and the quality substantial, but we have some competitive advantage that we may utilize to support our plan.
And the deal with Nissan Renault, is there any estimation of when that deal is going to be closed?
It's better to address this issue to the shareholders. What I have heard for the last several weeks from leaders of the alliance, that the deal is almost ready. They expect signing the deal in the nearest future.
Euro electromobiles and hybrids, does the future belong to these sort of cars? Electric cars, electric powered cars, does the future of the car market belong to these cars?
Partly yes, but we shouldn't, that is for sure is not the only priority, in particular for the Russian market.
Okay. And the WTO, is that going to be good for the membership, Russia's membership of the WTO? Is that going to be good for the Russian automotive sector or not?
You know that for sure it doesn't simplify the life of the Russian manufacturers, that is for sure. And certainly there are some negative points as for the competition and the competitive advantages that we have for the moment in front of our foreign competitors. For sure we lose some competitive advantages, and that is the big threat and risk. But we understand that is absolutely necessary in the long run, in strategic perspective, to join WTO, to be competitive and improve efficiency and the quality of our production.
Great. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to meet you, sir.